Most people think our job is to do a film or commercial. No, our job is actually to audition. And
Yeah.
every once in a blue moon, you get cast for something, and then you get the joy of working, and you might get a check. Voiceover is a lot of no's. You really have to have thick skin to stay in the business, whether you're any type of actor, and you're actively hunting for your work.
You'll spend 80% of your time looking for work and 20% of your time actually doing work.
If you're afraid of that or afraid of rejection, it
Yeah.
might be better to go get another job, because this
Yeah.
job is filled with rejection. Unless,
Yeah.
I don't know what to say, unless you're like George Clooney or being in Hollywood. It's like you might be called to a cattle call where there's 300 actors, and odds of you getting that is 1 in 300, if
Mm.
that. The joke, Anthony will know this. It's one of the jokes, long jokes in Hollywood, is someone will say, "Oh, I'm an actor," and you go, "Really? Where do you wait tables?" It was very frustrating, and I almost lost that client. And it's like that was a downfall. That's one of the downfalls of these pay to plays, is that they're just more concerned with money. About money, they're money driven,
Mm.
and that's just, my secret is I would do these for free if I could live. I
Mm.
would do voiceovers for free.
My analogy about being shortlisted, I'll use a dating analogy. You're in a bar and you see a pretty woman and she agrees to give you her number. Okay. But that in no way means that she gave you the right number, that if you
It's true.
called, she's going to pick up the phone.
Most of my clients they're going direct to the video production company. They're going direct to the voiceover. And a lot of them are just tired of being treated the way they've been treated with these pay to plays. And they go to
Yeah.
the talent themselves. A lot of clients would approach me. They've seen me on some of these pay to plays, and then they looked me up separately and reached out to me directly. And they're willing to pay even more money because they just don't want to put up with all the BS. You want to spend most of your day being direct with your client and them just giving you scripts and you recording them. That's where you want to get to.
They'll really promote special series during those months, just trying to draw as many viewers in as possible, because that's how they're going to set their advertising dollars.
When Sweeps Week comes about, they figure out Nielsen Broadcast Radio, I think is the company that figure
Nielsen,
out
yep.
somehow, what the viewership is per channel. So how many people actually tune in to watch Fox
Yeah,
47?
and even more specifically, they break it down by age brackets so that you can know what demographic, and they can present that to potential clients. They crunch all those numbers and they come up with this magical pixie dust and say, number one in news right now for Oklahoma City or for Detroit, Michigan is such and such.
Now, most markets, or most bigger markets, go to metered ratings, so they get them every day, the
Right.
next day, see how they did.
It used to be, it was a big deal for you to be accepted as a Nielsen family, and they
Right.
would send you like a check for $50.
The business all gets down to one word: ratings.
That's all that
Right.
matters. And just
That's
like YouTube, you have
all
all
that
these people doing
matters.
horrible things at Walmart or playing pranks on old people to get views. I got 1 million views because I randomly tripped this old man in a park. Horrible
Right.
things that are happening, all just to get views on YouTube.
That's in my opinion, that's the horrible thing about social media.
If it bleeds, it leads. And so that's what they care about.
I did a sweeps piece about workplace dating, and the title of it was Frisky Business.
At the end of the day, it's like the average person doesn't sit and engagingly watch the news and just sit there enraptured with every story. It's going on in the background. They're yelling at their kids and their family.
It's total analysis paralysis. It's
True.
never going to get you a job.
You don't need a $3,000 demo. You don't need
No.
an $8,000 microphone. There's wonderful mics out there for the right person that are $250, $200. And with some, everything requires an investment of some sorts to get in business.
Reality is a lot different than the misconception that we're fed.
You can choose whatever book cover you want on your book. And
Yeah,
so to
so
speak,
the neat thing about, and let me just plug UA for a second, Universal Audio.
great company.
Less is more when you're recording. In other words, put as few things in your signal chain as possible.
Despite what people have told you, you don't need a great voice to be in voiceover. Just listen
No.
to the commercials. if I had a penny for every guy that came up to me and said, "I've always been told I have the voice for voiceovers," that may have worked in the 70s and 80s, but
Right.
today you don't have to have a top 40 voice anymore. That difference, that little scar made the difference. You're not going to win the damn lottery unless you buy a ticket. And our
Yeah,
ticket to the lottery in acting, whether on screen or voiceover, is auditioning. That's how you get work, is auditioning. And
yeah, yeah.
it's okay to congratulate people and be there for them, but for the most part, don't look at who's driving next to you on the road or behind you or in front of you.
Right.
Focus on your drive and your ability and the microphone that you are using that's right for you.
And don't look for constant affirmation.
Oh,
Before you know it, the guy's rearranging his demo when it was
no.
a perfectly good demo.
Right. You could do all day cutting bait and get the perfect bait, or you can just grab the bait, put it on the damn hook, throw it in the water, because that's where you're going to catch fish, not cutting bait. You can't put all your eggs in one basket.
It happens in all professions,
Yeah.
but acting is, I would say, particularly difficult because of the subjectivity.
Somebody had looked at a picture and said, you know what, he looks like a man, and that's what this movie's or that's what this video is about, right? To be a man. Life and how you put yourself into a certain field or a certain job or whatever. I found now that I've turned 50, and maybe you guys can agree or disagree, you toss yourself in a direction, but life shifts you into the where you fit.
Right.
Is that
If they ask if you can juggle, yes, you can. Can you ride a horse? Yes, you can. And then
fake
you
it
go
till
out
you
and learn
make
it.
I've gotten a little bit more conservative in some ways where I just need, and I've got a family too. I want more stability.
You can do multiple things because we're human beings. We have multiple interests.
How do you figure out what you're worth considering you're your own boss?
If you're just starting on voiceover, probably the last thing you need to worry about is what you're going to charge. The best thing is to get work under your belt. You can't go, I've spent 50 hours this week auditioning and didn't get paid anything. That's just part of the sacrifice. Why move to Hollywood with all the expenses and the rent that you can afford? Do not trade no money for some money. Stay on that some money and then add, maybe I only do voiceovers in the evening from 10 p.m. to midnight or whatever.
Right.
You can meet all the right people and get all the right auditions, but that doesn't mean you're going to get the work. His
And
father
who's-
is Hollywood. That's just cut. He wrote
Yeah.
most of our childhood.
I wouldn't want to buy a car from a guy that told me, oh, this is a great car. And then I drive down the freeway and it's missing brake fluid. That was a life-changing thing for me because I just love being behind the mic talking about our school.
The big multi-million-dollar question here that we need to ask basically is, did you buy that voice at Walmart or were you born with that voice?
Walmart wasn't even around when I was
Right. You know what
No,
I mean.
I was a huge, I used to love to watch the NFL. Summerall had such a great, I
What a
loved his
great
game. I didn't go into acting with the same passion I had for broadcasting. It was, hey man, these guys are making it big. I could.
You need to fire her ass. I'm like, what? He's, yeah, fire her. She works for you. You don't work for her, idiot. So fire her and go get a real agent. Go get someone that will buy you the car. But I thought I was some hot shit. And so that's what I was telling her. And she's, so what are you going to do? And I said, I'm going to go to the William Morris agency and I'm going to get William to represent me. And she said, you are? And I said, yep. And she goes, don't let the door hit you in the ass on the way out. And I was crushed. I was like, she's not even fighting for, I want to hire a William for my agent. And she said, oh, I see. And she goes, I don't know if William will be here, but I can get someone to talk to you. What's your name? And I said, I'm Connor Quinn. And she took a step back, not the Connor Quinn. And I go, yes, the Connor Quinn. And she's like, oh my God, why didn't you say so? Have a seat, Mr. Quinn. We'll have someone help you. Mr. Quinn, we love you, but here at the William Morris, we just can't use you. So we can't take you. I was so crushed. I was like, what do I do? You be back here in that spot at 7:30 a.m. on Monday, and I'll let you know my decision as to whether I want to be your agent. Have a nice day. There's this little shit that's in a mood. He's coming down there and wants to hire William Morris as his agent. No agent's going to take time from the William Morris agency to talk to some idiot. So they got a kid from the mailroom to act like an agent. Joni was the last of those powerhouse agents that was like everything in one: your mom, your manager, your agent, your roadie. If she told me to wear a brand new pair of shoes, this brand, and part my hair on the left, that's what I did. I didn't ask questions. She was success. It was very audacious of me as an 8-year-old to think that I could fire her and still have a career. Hear some of her stories probably about some of those people would just be absolutely incredible.
I'm having flashbacks when I was a 5 o'clock anchor and we went on right when Michael Jackson was about to die.
We want to hear what you're
Yeah.
thinking and what you're, maybe there's something we can speak to, any of us three or all three of us, on what's going on in your mind or your life or your career.
Thank God for AI. I don't feel like I need to clone myself anymore.